Brothers and sisters, morning to you all. Today we are reading Proverbs chapter 26. We have Pastor Joshua sharing. It's actually one connected with chapter 25. It's kind of like an anti-example. Anti-example. In chapter 25, we talk about how we are being exalted by God in a nation, in a country. We are being exalted by God in a nation. That's chapter 25 we shared yesterday. Now we are on chapter 26. The title for today is In a country, in marketplace, or in a city, in a nation. Okay. Do not become the worst. Do not become the worst in your marketplace or in a nation. Do not become the rubble or like the desolation, rejected, kind of like the defect or rejected in a nation, in a country. In Cantonese, in Cantonese, we have that saying that do not try to, do not lose out. Do not lose out in a nation, in a country, or do not like lose what have been passed on to you. In chapter 25 and 26, at the end of chapter 25, verse 28, the last verse, or so chapter 25, verse 28, and then all the way to 26, verse 1 to 3. There is a picture here. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Chapter 20. And as snow in summer and rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a fleeting sparrow, like a flying swallow, so a curse without cause shall not alight. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. So chapter 25, verse 28, all the way to 26, verse 1 to 3. Chapter 25, verse 28. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit, someone who has no control over his own spirit, whoever. He has no control over his own spirit. He does not control, does not rule over it. That means he does not rule over his own spirit. Do not destroy yourself. Do not self-destruction. Do not make yourself as the reject, the worst in a city. Do not destroy yourself. In your own city, in your marketplace, in your family, in your social circle, we should be exalted by God. We should be greatly used by God. That's what I mentioned yesterday. In marketplace, in the nation, we shall be exalted greatly by God. But now and then the last verse of chapter 25, verse 28, do not destroy yourself. Compare with what chapter 25 said that, if we do our part, we speak words, we are humble, then you will be exalted by God naturally. Do not try to gain the glory of a God, or do not steal glory from God. You put yourself under the arrangement of God. You do not try to, come above God and the king. You control yourself. When you speak, when you act appropriately, in appropriate manner. You know what to do. You do just right. When you eat, you do not eat too much. If you eat too much, you will have diarrhea and vomiting. You do not spend much time in your good friend's house, lest they got too fed up with you and find you annoying. You need to have self-control in everything. How can we do that? How do we humble and everything? That's the last verse of chapter 25. How can we be humble? How can we control ourselves? How? Oh, we are able to control and rule over our own spirit. That's the key. We must control our spirit. To ordinary people, it's like, do you have anger or something like that? Like, whoever has no rule over his own spirit, in verse 28 of chapter 25. Oh, that's ruah, that means wind, and also mean your spirit. If you do not rule over your own spirit, it's like a city broken down without walls. It's like a city broken down. It's a city, it's a nation. It's a city without walls. If you do not control your own spirit, your spirit is uncontrollable. You are just like a city without wall, a ruined city. Then you are in the city, you are the rubble, you are the reject. You are completely destroyed. Chapter 25 talks about that when you can control your own spirit, that's the key. That's why this verse 28 kind of like put chapter 25 and 26 as a contrast. When we control our spirit, you are able to control the wind, the spirit in you. You humble yourself. You endure. You speak aptly, appropriately. Then what you say is like the gold apple in a silver setting. You do not compete with others. Then you speak fitly, appropriately. You will be exalted by God. Then the king will exalt you gradually. In the city, you will be exalted and used by God. It depends whether you can control that wind, that spirit in you. That is your spirit. Is your spirit under your control? That's the key. If your spirit is beyond your control, you do not try to restrain your spirit. You become rebels in a city, in a nation. Chapter 25 talk about how you will be exalted by God. And then chapter 26 that do not become such a rubble, such a ruin? What makes you reject the rubbles in the city? What makes you lose your inheritance? Do you control your spirit? When you control your spirit, if you do not control your spirit, you are destroying yourself. In this city, in the whole world, in your own family, you will destroy yourself. What is the condition of your spirit? Is it under your control? This is key. It decides whether you will walk in chapter 25 or you will end up in chapter 26. So chapter 26, that, there is a reason to everything. As snow in summer and rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Honor is unfitting for a fool. A fool should not receive honor. That's why we need to control our spirit. We need to be careful. Do not become a fool. If you become a fool, or you give honor to a fool, you are with him, you associate yourself with him, you honor him, you are with him, you associate, you partner with him, you think they are good, he is good. You follow a fool, be with him, you give him honor. That's unfitting. Just like snow in summer, you will never see snow in summer. You will not see rain in harvest. It will not happen. It should not be. If you do not control your spirit, you associate with yourself with a fool and give him honor, you will lose everything. Verse 27 in chapter, it is not good to eat much honey and to seek one's own glory is not glory. That's in chapter 25. And in chapter 26, it begins telling us, right after the key verse of chapter 25, verse 28. Honor is unfitting for a fool. Not fitting. Do not associate yourself with a fool. Do not honor them. There is reason to everything. A fool should never be honored by you. Do not give honor to a fool. And do not become a fool yourself. Like a fleeting sparrow, like the flying swallow, there is a reason. Why did a sparrow fleeting or a swallow is flying? So a curse without cause shall not alight. Curses comes for a reason. There is a cause for curse will come. If you give honor to a fool, curse will come to you. There is a cause. Why do you face curse? Because you give honor to a fool. You need to control your spirit. Yes, you like that person very much, but do not be with that person. You need to control yourself. If he is a fool, do not be with him. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. If you are with him, you will receive punishment and whipping. Verse 4 to 10 is the Proverbs about a fool. Do not associate yourself with the fool, with fools. Verse 4, do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Verse 5, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. If you face a fool or you are with him, what should you do? Do not send a message by the hand of a fool. Otherwise, it will be just like cut off his own feet and drinks violence. Do not depend on a fool, like the legs of the lame that hang limp. It's a proverb in the mouth of fools. It's useless, pointless. Like one who binds a stone in a sling is he who gives honor to a fool. Verse 8. You will go out, it will not come back. The great, like a throne that goes into the hand of a drunkard, is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Verse 9. Whatever you try to tell them is useless. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. He can learn nothing. A fool, he is not teachable. Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. There is no hope for a fool. So that's why you must control your spirit. Control your spirit. Do not be with a fool. Do not depend on them. Do not try to change them. Speaking of which, not just in a city, our sisters, choosing a boyfriend, you must know who to choose. Do not choose a fool. Otherwise, you will have a miserable life. I saw there was a sister. There were some sisters. I do not paint everyone with the same brush. She knew the guy was bad. She knew it at the start. But she believed that she could change him. So she was with him. She decided to be with him so that she might change him. She thought she had that power, that strength. And she believed that he would change. So I want to tell you, if you're married this way, continue on in this marriage with such a faith. But if you are not married yet, or you're just dating him, please say goodbye to him as soon as possible. Do not ever think that you can change him. You think that you have wisdom. You're wise in your own eyes. You can see a fool can never be changed. A leopard doesn't change his color. He makes mistakes, he continues making mistakes. You try to tell him all kinds of proverbs, it's not going to change him. You try to depend on him, rely on him, tell him to do something. It's like you stand on a lame leg. You try to send a letter for me, please. You will hurt your it's like cut off your own feet. Do not think that you can change them. You control your spirit. Control your spirit. I need to hold it. I cannot go forward with him. Even if I don't break up straight away, but I need to watch care. I need to see the situation clearly. It's important to control your spirit. Do not just follow the unfolding of the event. Okay, I just go with it. Okay, someone pursues me, I will just take it. Even in the marketplace, which staff can you use? You need to control your spirit. Do not just use whoever you can. Sometimes in order to do something, we need some staff. Then I find someone to do it. But they are fools. The more they do, the more you're busy. You try to get more people, but at the end it's the worst. Do not give a fool honor. Do not give honor to a fool. It's unfitting. If that's the case, then you will fail again and again. Then you go towards turning into rubble. That's why at the start of chapter 26, honor is unfitting for a fool. You need to control your spirit. Hold yourself back. Do not associate yourself with them. Do not be with them. Verse 14 to 16. Do not become a lazy man. You must control your spirit. Do not go towards making yourself into a lazy man. First of all, do not give honor to a fool. Do not befriend them. If that's the case, then you will go downhill. And in verse 12, it says here, what is a fool like? Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. You must control your spirit. Do not become a fool. You continue to control your spirit. Control your emotion, your sentiment. Do not be a lazy man. A lazy man, a fool has more hope. There is more hope for a fool than for a lazy man. A fool was bad enough, is bad enough. But being a lazy man is even worse. But why would we end up like a lazy man? Because he's wise in his own eyes. I talked about it yesterday, remember? Yeah, we should go this way. We should do it this way. But the lazy man, wise in his own eyes, why do I make so much effort? Just cut corner, straightforward. Make quick money, big money. Why do I be diligent? Why do I abide by the Lord? Or go back door? I can do what you do for 10 years in 1 year. Wise in his own eyes. He is wise in his own eyes. A fool, there is more hope for a fool than for a lazy man. Wise in his own eyes. Why do we become a lazy man? What is the problem? We'll come back to that later. Verse 13, the lazy man says, there is a lion in the road. A fierce lion is in the streets. He doesn't go out. Because there is a lion, there is a fierce lion in the streets. It's dangerous, I should not go out. As a door turns on its hinge, so does the lazy man on his bed. So he twists and turns on the bed, and it's like a door turns on its hinges. It's like he's doing something. He's just like rolling on his bed, twists and turns, doesn't do anything. The lazy man buries his hand in the bowl. It wearies him to bring it back to his mouth. Verse 15. He buries his hand in the bowl. It wearies him to bring it back to his mouth. Ah, my hands are so tired. Oh, forget it. Oh, forget it. It wearies him even to bring the food back to his mouth. The lazy man is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. Verse 16. There is no hope for a lazy man. There is more hope for food than for a lazy man. How come a lazy man will be lazy? It wearies him even to bring the food back to his mouth from a bowl. He lies on his bed, and then he thought that he was like working. If he goes out, he thinks, oh, it's so dangerous on the road, on the streets. You are stupid. You are going out. I'm not doing it. What is the problem of a lazy man? Doesn't move. Unwilling to move. He does not control his spirit. We must control our spirit. We do what we should. We go on the right way. Do not let yourself just lie in bed doing nothing. If you lie there doing nothing, you are not controlling your spirit. You let your flesh do what it's like. You does not control your spirit. You do not gird yourself with strength. I must arise. It's a willpower. What do you think in your spirit? You have no driving force, no motivation. You do not try to control your spirit. Do not become a fool. And definitely do not become a lazy man. A fool even moves. You know, if you want him to send a letter, he does, but you don't know where he will send to. He will do as told, but he does it in the wrong way. So just forget it. Leave him alone. But a lazy man, you try to ask them to do something, they don't at all. A lazy man doesn't want to move. There is no motivation. He does not control his spirit. His spirit doesn't say, okay, I need to move, I need to work. His spirit just like, okay, I just want to lie down. At the end, he become rebels of his city. If they are ruling a city, then the city will be without wall, no protection, ruined. But then verse 16 here, the lazy man is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. He has no wisdom himself. He is not wise at all. But he's wise in his own eyes. It says here. He considers himself wiser than 7 men who can answer sensibly. He really thinks that he is very wise. And then you will talk about a couple of people. But lazy men are more wiser than other people. So as a person, do not become a fool. More so, do not become a lazy man. There is more hope for a fool than for a lazy man. But a lazy man there is more hope for a lazy man than the groups of people we are going to talk about in this chapter. So in a city, in a marketplace, you can see it goes down and down. Who are worse than lazy men? Verse 17. He who passes by and meddles in a quarrel not his own is like one who takes a dog by the ears. Like a madman who throws fire, brands, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. Verse 17 to 19. So there is more hope for a lazy man than those people who are competitive, wiser. More hope for him. Those who are competitive. The competitive person is worse than the lazy man. He who passes by and meddles in a quarrel not his own. He is walking on the street. A lazy man does not go out, okay? Because there is lion, right? Remember? But this competitive, of course he goes out. He will passes by and meddles in a quarrel not his own. He will mind the business not his. He will mind other people's business. He is unable to control his spirit. He will be agitated by small things. He will be stirred and agitated by but the lazy man has no motivation. Just lie there. But these people, competitive people, they mind other people's business. They are over energetic. Far too easily irritated. They cannot stand even a little bit of agitation. Then they become rubbles in a city. Meddles in a quarrel not his own. They are competitive people. It's like one who takes a dog by the ears. So dog lies there, you walk past. Why do you want to take a dog by the ears? You are nosy. Why are you nosy? You are unable to control your spirit. You want to cause some troubles. You can't stand the dog. Want to take the dog by the ear. The dog is, can be fierce. The dog will bite you. Why does a person do that? You do not control your spirit. May God help us. Do not become a fool. Do not become a lazy man. Do not become a competitive person, a nosy person. A competitive person is not good. They are rebels. They are rejected. Same for the talebearer. From verse 20, where there is no wood, the fire goes out. Where there is no talebearer, the strife ceases. As charcoal is to burning coals and wood to fire, so is contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are like tasty trifles, and they go down into the inmost body. Tale bearer. Is worse than a competitive person, a tale bearer. You are competitive, you are easily agitated, your spirit will be agitated so easily. Then you are nosy. You try to compete. And a talebearer, not only are they agitated, they love to share. They love to contract. You don't need someone to, he doesn't need to be agitated. Compared with the fool, lazy man, he's worse off. It goes even lower. The last one, verse 24 to 28. Those who are hatred, full of hatred, someone who is full of hatred, is worse than a fool. Among all these people, a fool is the best, but still there is no hope for a fool. He will not receive honor. Whereas a lazy man is lower, is worse than a fool. A competitive person will go even lower. A talebearer goes lower because he loves doing that. A person full with hatred, not only does he like it, he has to do it. The hatred in him drives him, and he will destroy himself at the end. It's really scary. What's the key here, brothers and sisters? Every one of us before God, we submit ourselves under God. We submit ourselves under King. Control our own spirit. Our spirit must be under control. Do not do whatever you please. Do not follow what the world tells you to. You just follow the society, the world. We must control our spirit so that our spirit is ruled over by the Holy Spirit and under the truth. Then you will keep exalting by God and used by God. To become man of Hezekiah, you will copy, inscribe Proverbs in your hearts, being exalted by God and have the strength of God and being exalted by Him. Do not destroy yourself. Do not become a fool. Do not become a lazy person. Do not become a contentious person. Do not become a talebearer or spread false news, affecting the whole society, being negative. And at the end, you will be filled by hatred, and walk into the path of destruction. Your city will be ruined because of you. Yet you are in it, you suffer. Brothers and sisters, you know what I'm trying to tell you. We need to be filled by God, by love. We need to be filled by the truth. Do not walk on the way of destruction. For our city, for our nations, for our world, for the whole world. This is my cry. Oh man, we must control our spirit so that God can rule over our spirit. Bless you. That's the end of the message today. Thank you for listening.